So what you'll see tonight, should you choose to have both parts, right now is the EXL Info Night, and then at 7 o'clock is the LJMS in general presentation. So you could do a double header if you want, but if you don't, then it's quite all right. We're going to have another Parent Info Night a little later on at our normal time. That's usually around March or so, around the time that the 5th graders come on campus and do a tour from our theaters. So I'd like to welcome you guys. My name is Scott Johnson. I'm the principal here at Lawrence Jones. And I think this is my 6th year here, and we're really proud of the programs we bring. And one of the great programs that the district brings, and it really is a district program, is EXCEL. That's why you're here tonight. Let me first introduce Ms. Broden, our assistant principal. She'll be speaking later on with me. And so the program you're going to hear tonight, so a couple prefaces. Just to clarify, so it's a different kind of learning environment. It's great, it's a fantastic learning environment. It isn't GATE, but it's for students that want to work hard and have a little different experience. It's for students that want the more experiential learning and project-based learning. And maybe you've heard about it. So before coming tonight, have you heard about EXCEL? Raise your hand if you've heard about EXCEL. Okay, good. So we got some folks that have a good idea. All right, so without further ado, I'll hand it over to Mr. Cal Nelson, and then I'll let the EXCEL teachers introduce themselves. So thank you for coming tonight. And Mr. Nelson, no power for you?
I'll go wireless. Welcome. It's a pleasure to have the opportunity to share our program with you. Here tonight in the room are Mr. Ment, myself, Cal Nelson, Michelle Yanglin, Tim Cachot, also one of the founders of this program 22 years ago in this district. You're not that old. Mr. Seibel, our other 6th grade teacher, and Ms. Holgate, science and math, 7th and 8th grade. Tim, if you could do the lights center, please. As I mentioned, the program was started in 1995, so we're well into our 22nd year. Oops. To start us off, Mr. Sutter.
So, everybody here tonight, I would imagine, has one question on your mind. Everybody's sitting here. The elephant in the room. That is, will the groundhog see a shadow tomorrow? I know that's why you're here. I know that's why you're here. Thank you for the laugh. I was having a few worries about that. All right, so now that we're all loose and easy about this, I'd like to pass it over to the other 6th grade teacher, Miss Yanglin.
Yes, my teaching partner is quite the jokester, but all joking aside, an incoming 6th grader into this program or middle school in general does have many, many questions. Will I know anybody in EXCEL? Will I make friends easily in EXCEL? Will I do okay with project-based learning? Can I play sports and manage my academic responsibilities? When people spend 6+ hours a day, like they do in a program like ours, they share group responsibilities, they stretch their comfort zones together, and they travel together. It is critical to build a safe environment that's inclusive to all. Mr. Seibel and I spent the first year of this program building that community and modeling that the life skills needed to be successful in EXCEL are just as important as the academic ones. Organization is key, and with an ability to cooperate, the desire to learn, mutual respect, and a positive attitude, students in our program are successful. In the 6th grade, Mr. Seibel and I do hit the ground running by planning a lesson that puts kids on stage right away in front of one another, and we also plan an overnight expedition just 3 weeks out from the start of the school year that forces them to cooperate and problem solve on their own. By being vulnerable on stage right away, they learn that compliments and constructive critiques and a close examination of their strengths and weaknesses are a big part of how we grow and learn together in the program. Furthermore, by being immersed in that overnight living history program that's first overnight experiences they share together, they get a sense of historical empathy. Students have an opportunity to explore a time that's different from the one that they live in. They get to learn how life was in that time. They get to connect with one another to problem solve on that journey. And finally, they get to act in that historical setting. So explore, learn, connect, and act are at the core of what we do in our program with students over the course of 3 years. So tonight, you're going to hear from many of our upper grade students about what that means for them.
Here this evening are a couple of our current 6th graders to speak on behalf of the year that they've had so far, Alina Santa Maria and Sierra Prairie.
Hello, I'm Alina.
And I'm Sierra.
Not so long ago, we were sitting in the same seats as you were. Making the decision to apply was a leap of faith, as some people would call it. But we knew right away that this program was the perfect fit for us. This program has taught us so much and has changed us for the better.
It has taught us how to work with others, be more confident, how to manage our time, and how to present to a crowd as big as this one. We still get nervous, but that's part of life, and EXL helped us around it. EXL brings different people together from different places to join as one.
Working in groups is a big part of EXL. Together, we had to make it thin and thick. One of our first projects was a group project. This helped us meet new people that we would eventually form strong bonds with.
We may have our differences, but we are just like a big family. EXL can be challenging, but once you have completed something small, it makes you feel like you've accomplished a lot.
Explore, learn, connect, act. Together, we are a community.
So if you're still unsure whether to apply to EXL, just do it.
Okay, I'm Ms. Holding, and thank you, Sierra and Alina. For me, the heart and the genius of our EXL program is the way it provides the opportunity for young people to go out into the world and learn through their direct experience. I think all of us can imagine what it would be like to design and then build an electric car and have it fail, and then redesign the car and build it again and have it fail again, and then go back to the drawing board one more time and have it succeed. When you do this, you can see that how the breadth and depth of the knowledge is so much greater than should you just read about it or even have it explained to you. Learning about biology and geology by climbing a mountain or camping in a forest not only serves our students academically, but it also increases their empathy and their respect for life. Opening up doors is something literal for us. When the doors of the classroom open up and the students venture outside and meet a world that is less familiar, they learn so much about who they are, things that they never knew they had before inside. They face their fears and their passions, and they find their strengths and their weaknesses. These kids put out every single bit of their being. They put it all to task. They change and they grow. They become so much more. And it is such a privilege to be a part of it. So now I would like a couple of our great explorers to come and talk to you about their experience. Ryan and Peyton.
I'm Peyton Byrne.
And I'm Ryan Nelson, and I'm in 8th grade.
There is no better way to learn than experiencing what you are learning about.
EXL will help you expand your horizons and explore who you are in the world around you.
Whether it's in the classroom or out in the field, we are always learning and discovering and exploring.
You explore your possibilities and learn you could do things you never knew you could do before.
We go on long, challenging trips that push us outside of our comfort zone so we can grow and learn.
You learn to be prepared and to take care of yourself and people around you. You learn how to add positively to a group and to get along despite differences.
On our expeditions, we are always busy. We take notes and absorb all of the information that we can.
In 8th grade, we went to LA for 6 days. This trip is one of the most fun trips I have been on, as well as being more challenging. Independence was major on the Southern California expedition. You had to manage your money, your time, and your attitude.
This year, the 7th and 8th graders went to Ashland, Oregon to the Shakespeare Festival for 4 days. This trip helped to teach us how to do things on our own, because we cooked and cleaned up our own meals, made sure we were following directions and on time, and set up and took down our own campsites. We were also pushed outside of our comfort zones. After we watched the plays, we got to perform and act in front of the whole class, which can be challenging for some people like myself. I get nervous when I act or perform, but doing this, I got better at it and I got more comfortable with it.
Another trip to go on as a 7th and 8th grader is Yosemite. Yosemite is definitely one of the more challenging trips because of the length and the weather. You have to take care of yourself and your equipment to enjoy the trip. We always have a Yosemite project, which we prepare for before the trip, add to during, and turn in after.
EXL will definitely help you explore more about yourself and the world around you, and it will help you inside the classroom and out.
Let's welcome our 7th and 8th grade English and History teacher, Mr. Nelson.
Our approach in expeditionary learning is based on the belief that all students, all people really, not only can learn, but want to learn. So what we do is offer a variety of impactful learning experiences to allow that learning to take place. These experiences are project-based, experiential, cooperative, integrated across the curriculum, and challenging. Our goal is to challenge ourselves to be the best we can. One of the ways we do that is in 7th and 8th grade, we use mastery grading. Students are only able to earn A, B, or F, and they learn to rise to that standard and succeed. Tonight, 2 of our avid and colorful learners are here to speak more about that, Dante and Christian.
Hello everybody, my name is Dante Benedetti,
And my name is Christian Rao.
and we're both in 8th grade.
So the entire point of school is to learn new things. And expeditionary learning is an amazing opportunity to learn in new, interesting, and challenging ways.
The many group projects help to teach cooperation, public speaking, and help you improve yourself as an individual.
The added layer of complexity in class with projects and expeditions can seem a little scary at first, but after a while it really helps heighten a student's understanding of the world and helps prepare them for the rest of their lives.
Projects help spur creativity in the minds of students and help them develop certain skills that they need for their lives.
Also, in this program, the teachers you see around the room are not the only teachers.
In this program, we all learn from each other through our integrated grades and classes.
We do lots of team building exercises with all 3 grades. And even though I have many years of knowledge to bestow upon the 7th and 6th graders, I learn new things from them too.
This helps add to the friendly and comfortable environment we try to create here in expeditionary learning.
Not only is the environment in expeditionary learning comfortable and safe, it is also perfect for igniting a curiosity and a passion for learning new things.
Although expeditionary learning may seem like maybe it's too hard for you, or that you don't have the skills needed to participate, do not let that deter you.
Expeditionary learning is not made for a specific kind of student. In fact, everyone in this room is perfect for this program right now.
The most important skill that you need to participate in expeditionary learning is the desire to learn new things.
If you mess up today or tomorrow or any days after that, don't feel bad. Just Learn from your mistakes, apply yourself, and better yourself based on the information you've gained, and you will thrive no matter where you go in life.
Every single one of you has the capability to successfully participate in this program.
All it takes is a lot of dedication and a lot of hard work. Now, please welcome to the speaking part our 7th and 8th grade math and science teacher, Mr. Peterman.
We believe that education is much more meaningful, much more powerful, and effective when connections are made. Making connections is critical to our success as learners, whether it be connecting experience to curriculum, school to community, teachers to families, students to other students, or thought to action. A very direct and tangible example of connection is the integration required for our recent bridge project. It's also a good example of a complex long-term project, which the students will undertake many of. Students will go on an expedition to study the Golden Gate Bridge firsthand. Through this project, we combine the expedition with art, math, physics, engineering, studying the scientific method, looking into the history involved in writing it all up in a report, language arts. Here to address the concept of connections from the students' perspective are our wonderful 8th graders, Aubrey and Tosca.
I'm Tosca Queenie, I'm in 8th grade. And I'm Aubrey Alexander, and I'm also in 8th grade.
So connection is something that brings you closer together as a family. You put your trust into these amazing people you see before you, and all of them believe in you.
Tonight, we'd like to connect with you guys, our audience. We know there are a couple of incoming 6th graders a little bit skeptical about joining expeditionary learning because maybe you don't have any close friends also looking to join the program. Or maybe you're afraid that you don't have the skills needed for expeditionary learning. But we're here to tell you that this is a life-changing experience. And parents, if some of you are not really sure what your child is getting into, we want you to know that you will not regret this.
So connection in expeditionary learning, you basically connect with everything. You connect with the world, you connect with your passion, you connect with everybody, and you connect with your spirit.
When we're connecting with the world, we're out in the community and in the fields. We're making bonds with nature and our peers. One example of a time that we connected with the world around us was when we went to Yosemite and basically lived in the snow. I know it sounds a little scary for some of you, but going on big trips like this really helps us expand our comfort zone, and it helps us realize that the people around us are there for us and we are there for them.
So everyone in this program is special, and including all of you, know you're not in the program yet. But you, just like everybody else, have a passion. And in expeditionary learning, you're able to share that passion and brings with everyone. You don't have to hide it or change yourself just so you can fit in.
It all starts in 6th grade, and you guys are already so close when you enter your 6th grade classrooms. But as you go on, in the grades, you become closer and closer, and you make such special and strong bonds that are long-lasting. Not only do we connect with our peers in expeditionary learning, but we also connect with our wonderful teachers. We can trust them, and we can go up to them and ask them for help because they are here for us.
So I promise you these teachers aren't scary at all. They're basically the parents of the school to most of us. And I know that parents, you will actually be a little nervous with your kids going on big field trips, but I can promise you that after being in this program for 3 years, 6th through 8th, that I've never felt so safe and so comfortable in my life.
Expeditionary learning is one of the most challenging and amazing experiences you will ever go through.
You will start a new chapter in your life, and it's filled with challenges and happiness.
We hope all of you guys are excited to apply for our expeditionary learning program. Thank you.
Please welcome our 7th
7th and 8th grade teacher of history and English, Mr. Cachot.
ACT is our fourth tenet, and it implies movement, of course, and we take the kids outside. And being outside is key for middle schoolers. They need to move, they need to get outside of the classroom walls. Being outside not only, research shows, not only improves your health, improves your mood, and it also allows you to learn in a deeper and more meaningful way. But the big change for middle schoolers isn't external, it's internal. They change so much from 6th to 8th grade. And we work hard to provide opportunities for them to act in a constructive way to process these changes that they're going through. And what we're trying to do is help them create the best them that they can be. You see these wonderful demonstrations here tonight. They grow so much, they've changed so much, and they need our support as a community to change in the best possible ways, to treat each other well, to learn to be stewards of outdoors, of nature, of animals, of plants. So we do a lot of work with that. And we're trying to build character in these kids. And I need to introduce now two of my favorite characters, Sarah and Ariana.
Thank you, Tim.
Hi, my name is Sarah Cornett and I'm in 8th grade.
And my name is Ariana Barrett and I am in 8th grade as well.
In EXL, we act. When we act, we keep in touch with our adventurous side.
Beach cleanups, straw, and mentoring 6th graders are a couple activities EXL students participate in their community.
These activities bring us closer together as an EXL family and a community. It helps reduce conflicts between students because it teaches us how to help. When we take action, we make the world a better place, we feel good, and we tie our community together.
Taking action is not necessarily volunteering. Participating in community and group events is another way.
For example, last Tuesday, the 7th and 8th graders went on a trip to San Francisco. We visited the Symphony and the Asian Art Museum, and in between the two activities, we ate lunch outside in the Civic Center.
There was a Zumba teacher next to our group. Many students decided to join in. The teacher graciously let us join until we had to go.
These experiences make us more open to new activities, and it really made it a day that we dance with it. Lately, flash mobs actually have been a recurring event in past expeditions.
Taking action is not just participating, it's also being a leader. Being a leader doesn't mean you're bossy and only your ideas should be put in the project. But being a leader means to be able to think quickly and solve problems without someone else telling you what to do. Everyone is a leader, it's just whether you want to take the opportunity or just leave it behind. Another way to take action is when you're on a field trip. EXL takes many field trips, and when those field trips come to an end, we need to clean up those campsites with a little activity we like to call a clean sweep. Everyone on that trip lines up and picks up the trash. The campsites usually look cleaner than they did before we came. And the clean sweeps belong to a motto called LNT, leave no trace.
Some examples of things that EXL participates in is a field trip called STRAW. STRAW stands for Students and Teachers Restoring a Watershed. We go out into the field and we restore a watershed to its former glory by planting many different species of trees and plants. We also do many other restoration projects on field trips. For example, last year when we went to Sugarloaf, we helped clear out the invasive species of Italian thistle so the native species could thrive. We also participate in the Human Race, which is an event to help people raise money for their charity. And last year, we raised money for the Foundation COTS, which is a foundation to help the homeless. We also participate in school-wide events like Pennies for Patients and the canned food drive for Noah.
I know some of you 6th graders are nervous about going into a new school, a new program, and new people. But the teachers, 7th and 8th graders, are happy to help you. And some of the reasons we go on overnight expeditions with the 6th graders is to help mentor them for amazing EXL years to come.
Lately, we've been working on inspiring people to act against bullying instead of being scared to speak up. We help resolve conflicts and organize games and activities that bring us together, closer together, and make us better friends and a better family inside of EXL.
Taking action is a vital part in EXL, and we value it very much, hence why it is in our motto. But taking action is a part of what makes EXL so unique. It's a safe, accepting, and giving community that prepares for high school in the best of ways.
Now we'd like to call back Mr. Seibel.
So parents in this program play a huge role. Not only do they help fund the trips, but they help chaperone and they help coordinate and volunteer on all of our fundraising activities. Here to talk about the EXLPA is our current president, Mr. Ed Flights.
Hi, my name is Ed Flights. My daughter Morgan is a 7th grader in EXL, and I was sitting over here thinking while the presenters were going on, there's only one thing about this program that makes me sad, is that I have 2 older kids that I didn't hear about the program, they either didn't hear about the program or weren't interested. What I can tell you is that it's a fantastic program. I was sitting in these seats 2 years ago, and I feel the same way today as I did 2 years ago, and that is, I don't know who was more excited then or still today about the program, my daughter or myself. Like Mr. Seibel just said, the parents are really the backbone of the organization. The teachers are all wonderful. We can drop in on them anytime. They probably get sick of seeing me. I come in twice a week to sign checks and collect fees from the students. It takes almost $300,000 a year to do all these expeditions. By the way, you won't hear me saying the F word, field trip. These aren't field trips that we go on. These are expeditions. A field trip is where you go and watch something or look at something or hear something. Expeditions are where you go out and do something. We went out last year, like they said, to the Straw Project, and in 2 days, our kids and our chaperones, even the parents were involved, planted, I think, nearly 750 willow sprigs down by Sears Point Raceway in the watershed down there. This next week, our entire program, for the first time this year, our 6th graders, 7th graders, and 8th graders are integrated together in their groups, in their cabin groups. This time next week, half of our program will be traveling from Monterey, half of our program will be going to Monterey. 1 in 3 of our parent families are involved in that program next week to get them to and from Monterey. So there really is a great opportunity for parents to get involved, whether you're able to go on day trips. We have a lot of day trips, more so in 6th grade than 7th and 8th, up to 6 and 7 day programs when they go down to Southern California or when we go to Yosemite. Some of you might know, and I know some of you folks out here have 2nd and 3rd children that are applying to the program, so you know more about the program than if you've got a first-time student like I did 2 years ago. Last month, when they closed down Yosemite on that Saturday, the 7th of January, we were supposed to board buses on Sunday morning and go for that next week that it was closed down. That's been postponed until the end of this month. We're really excited to go on it. Hopefully the weather won't be as bad as it was, but the snow will hopefully be as good as ever up there. So again, the opportunities are endless. If you don't want to go out and tent camp on the ground, you can wait until the Monterey trip where we're in a cabin. The Southern California trip down to LA, we actually stay in hotels. So there's a little something for everybody. If going out on expeditions isn't your cup of tea, we have a ton of different committees that you can get involved in. We've got 2 major fundraisers for the year that helps us with financial assistance for families that need a little bit of help every now and again, and also our classroom enrichment program, and that is a fireworks booth at the 4th of July and our pasta feed in October. Those are our 2 major fundraisers, and we raise about $20,000 a year through those 2 fundraisers alone. So it really is a great opportunity for the parents to get involved, for the families to get involved. Like I said, I'm as excited about the program today as I was 2 years ago when I sat out there with you wondering if this was the right program for my daughter and for our family. And I'm here to say that I couldn't be happier, and we've really enjoyed it. We've got another year to go. I know my daughter's already excited about programs or expeditions that are happening next year already, just based on hearing the other kids talk about it, seeing the slides and videos above. It's a fantastic program, and I can't say enough good things about it. So appreciate you all coming out. I know we're going to be over in the classrooms after this if you want to come over there and see some of the projects firsthand. And from a parent's perspective, I'll answer any questions that you have about the fees, about the expeditions, whatever you want. If we don't have the answers, we'll get you hooked up with the teachers who do. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
So, the application process. Applications are currently online at exlpa.org, which will redirect you to our Lawrence Jones website. At the end of this month, February the 28th, by 3:30 p.m., all applications are due. You can send them by mail, or you can drop them off at the office. The teacher recommendation forms. Your student needs to hand them the recommendation form. The teacher fills it out, and they send it back to us. So once you give it to the teacher, you do not need to worry about that portion of it. And applicants will be notified via email by the end of April. So hopefully we have many people sitting in the crowd tonight who are excited and look forward to reading all the applications.
Did you say the end of April?
Yes.
So at that point, that concludes our presentation of the four tenets. We have a video that shows, or the film a couple of years ago that covers some of the same topics, different information. Before we get into that, I wanted to open it up to any questions that you might have.
Could you get one of the light switches, the one on the right?
Brave soul, yes.
Are students in the program able to participate in school sports or bands?
Good question. Question
So after I'll talk about the relationship between Lawrence Jones and Excel.
Question was, can Excel students participate in school sports, or band? I have many people that would like to answer that. Christian, go ahead and start.
So, yes, Excel, a big part of Excel, the teachers all teach us time management. So, actually, just before this presentation, I was at wrestling practice here at LJ. So, yes, you can do extracurricular things. And my friend Dante, who I presented with, does band, and he leaves during our elected period, which is usually when we plan things for trips, but he always has me as a representative, so.
Did anyone else want to add on to that? Go ahead, Aubrey.
I do drama, and it's really just about keeping your time management together. You have to apply yourself to doing schoolwork, and you obviously have to do what you need to do for drama or for band or for sports. But yeah, your child is definitely open to doing whatever they would like to do while they're in middle school, and if it causes them to have to work a little bit longer at night, then it's worth it if they're doing what makes them happy.
Mr. Johnson, did you want to jump in here now?
Sure, I'll jump in now. So the important thing to know is Excel is Lawrence Jones. Lawrence Jones is Excel. So Excel students are Lawrence Jones students. Excel parents are Lawrence Jones parents. Everything that's available on campus to any student is available to Excel, with a couple of exceptions, like namely our enrichment, our fantastic enrichment department, because Excel does have its own elective, if you will, period to go over, how to cook for yourself and how to put up a tent and those sorts of things. But sports teams, our band, drama, clubs, I mean, you name it, you guys are involved. Great question.
More questions. There was another one up here. Yes.
I'm curious about the core curriculum as far as, what math are they in 7th, 8th grade?
history, English, how to prepare for high school and such. And just to piggyback on the electives thing, you mentioned drama and a couple other things. Is there something for the rest of the electives offered by LJ's, robotics, whatever other electives? And or given the schedule of Excel, is that difficult to do with all the traveling and that kind of stuff?
Okay, so the two-part question. First part of the question was about the core curriculum, and we are working to meet the same Common Core standards that all public schools are in California. We do go about it a little bit differently. Do you want to talk any more about math?
Regarding math, we just had a trip to the high school to help our 8th graders get familiar with what they're going to be getting into next year up at the high school. And I had the opportunity to speak very briefly with the assistant principal there. And he said he wanted to talk to me a little bit later because his math teachers have been telling him that the students from Expeditionary Learning are coming through very well prepared, noticeably so. And so they wanted to meet with me and find out what we were doing in our program that produced such well-prepared kids for high school. So that anecdote, I think, shows that we're doing a pretty good job meeting the needs of the students.
More specifically, when they leave 8th grade, are they going into 9th grade math in high school, or are they going, is that what they're prepared for, or is it a different?
Most students I recommend for algebra honors up at Rancho Cotati High School.
And the same with Spanish. Is Spanish an elective or part of the core curriculum?
So Spanish is not something that's offered here at Lawrence Jones to any student. But in our program, the elective is the Expeditionary Learning class, with the exception of band. And we have an arrangement with our fantastic band director here at school, Oliver Frankel, that our students can split the time between those two classes.
Does that include chorus?
I don't think we offer chorus.
Not yet.
Good questions. Okay, yes, over here.
Question, how many applicants, how many get in the program?
Sure, that's a great question. So we are set up, we have 2 classes at each grade level. So we have essentially 60 students in each of the 3 grades. So we're looking to fill 60 spots next year. The number of applications for those spots varies from year to year. Sometimes it's over 100, sometimes it's 75. It just depends. Question?
Do students typically enter in 6th grade or can they enter in 7th grade?
Good question. I'm not sure if everyone gets that. Do students typically enter in 6th grade or can they enter later? The answer is the majority of them enter in 6th grade. But after 6th grade and 7th grade, there is some transition in and out. So this year we added 7 new 7th grade students. And occasionally we will add 8th grade students, although that's not as common.
Our 6th, I'd just like to add on that our 6th grade teachers do a great job of prepping them. Those early expeditions are shorter and more structured. And as well as the projects in class. And I think it was Ms. Yanglin was talking about, really critiquing their public speech and their presentations. And so by the time they get to 7th grade, they're, really spot on. And the incoming 7th graders often have a hard time catching up. They catch up, but it's often a hard time. So I would say, if I was a parent, I would want to get them in the 6th grade level, if possible.
But we have had students that weren't accepted into 6th grade, worked hard during their 6th grade year, reapplied, and joined us in 7th grade. So that's certainly a possibility as well.
We've got a great one right now.
Other questions? Student question. I don't see it, but...
By the door.
Yes.
How many 8th grade field trips are there?
It varies. We take about between 12 and 15 expeditions a year. 6th grade might be a little lower, but over the 3 years, it's something like 40 expeditions.
I had a question.
So if a sixth grader is selected for this year, they automatically kind of roll over until seventh, so you don't have to reapply every year?
Correct. Once you're in the program, you can never leave. No, they maintain their spot. If the student is struggling, we will meet and see what we can do to support them. It's not for everyone, so there are students that elect to leave after 6th grade sometimes, and sometimes during 7th grade. Yes?
What is the criteria that you use to select the 60 students of
The application process is blind, so we don't know who the students are. They write an essay connecting themselves to the philosophy of explore, learn, connect, and act. They're evaluated by their 5th grade teacher, and a number of criteria. The other teacher or adult recommendations can be submitted. And we analyze those responses on a rubric and turn that into a score. I think it's out of 15, is that right, Mr. Seibel?
About that, yeah.
And we rank them according to that score, and we put together 2 classes.
And if I may add, Mr. Nelson, we also go through, we go through great lengths to make sure it isn't totally a blind process. We have a staff member go through that's not really connected to Excel, and she goes through and redacts all the names. Sometimes folks name drop, But so we even go through that process to make sure it truly is, a level playing field.
And it really is a surprise to myself and Ms. Yanglin at the end who actually got in, because we have not included, we're just reading the essay and the teacher recommendation, which is good because we don't go by last names. We go by, the criteria that you're required to put in.
And when we're scoring the applications, we're not necessarily looking for just one type of student or one type of thinker. We're looking for what seems to be the best fit. How well they present themselves. What do they have to offer? Yes.
How much interaction do the students have with the rest of the school? Is it classroom with only the EXL students, or is there kind of a mix where they can broaden the base?
That's a really good question. I think the students will probably want to chime in on that. But Excel students are in classes together for 5 and 6 periods, the exception being PE. There's some mixing in PE. Of course, they're out at lunch. They're involved in the other student activities and events. Students, what is your perception on that? Ariana?
Well, for me, I had a lot of friends who went into normal LJ and friends who went into Excel, and so we still hang out a lot, and we're really, we're not very separated. We're really close together, and we hang out a lot and we talk, and we don't really, and usually we don't have a lot of separation between Excel and LJ. It's just one big school.
Okay, thank you. Tosca?
So Excel has their own hall. It's house 3. There are 6th grade classes that are in the back that are not Excel. So we will pass through them often, but we don't have classes where we can talk to each other when we're in the hall. I actually love to talk in the hall, so we do it. But some of us still will interact because during lunch, most of us will stay in the quad or go out into the basketball and field, and we will actually interact from there instead of in classes.
Any other students want to talk about that?
I was going to bring up the state groups, but I realized that we changed those.
Yes, sir.
Question about the fees. I know there's fundraising, but how much do we have to start off? Is there a certain set amount we have to come up with?
Yes, indeed. So the bulk of the cost of the expeditions is contributions from parents. Probably the best person to explain that would be our president, Ed.
Sure. So each year, it gets progressively more expensive, but to give you a ballpark figure, it's about $3,200 right now for the whole 3 years. So we just last year restructured our payment plan so that when you get accepted in April or May, it's a $250 deposit right away that's due by our August barbecue. It's kind of our first event of the year to get people together, like the 6th graders. And then for 8 months out of the next 8 months during the school year, it's $125 a month is the fee. We take credit cards, we do it through PayPal. People pay through cash, people pay ahead. There's a few expeditions that are extra for chaperones, just because of the amount of fees involved. A lot of the expeditions we can absorb chaperone costs for our food, our lodging, that kind of stuff, into the fees that all of the kids pay as part of doing business. But there's a couple, like Yosemite costs an extra $550 for the chaperone. Monterey next week costs $100 for the chaperone. And then to give our treasurers a break, 3 or 4 months in the summer, we don't charge, we don't take payments. And then, we have some families who, if they can't afford the $125, they work with our treasurer and do smaller payments through a longer period of time. Some people pay more in advance, say right after taxes come in, or if they have a job schedule where they make more money in some part of the year than the other, they can prepay into their account. But over the course of 3 years, it's about $3,200. It's about $1,000 a year. Next month, we're in February now, so next month, just to give you perspective, we have to write a check for, I think it's almost $20,000 to reserve our Yosemite for next January. So a lot of our fees are front-loaded so that we have the deposits available to pay into next year and make reservations. So you can plan on about $3,000 to $3,200 for the 3-year experience.
More than a fee, really, it's a program. Can I use the word field trip? It's a program field trip share. It's a program share for the entire program, because it does cost a lot of money for these experiences. So but we do work with families that have trouble with that, and they see our counselors and myself for that.
Good question. Other questions? Another one? Yes.
Yeah. Out of the program, about how many students go to Tech High School instead of Rancho Cotati?
It varies by year. Last year we had over 20, I think, that went to Tech High out of our 8th graders. There's usually a good number.
It's usually about a third of the students in EXCL 8th grade that choose to go to Tech High. About a third.
There's a time you can't go on expeditions, and there's a year sick. So what happens?
So the question was, what if you can't go on an expedition because you're sick? Well, if you're sick, you shouldn't go, and that's okay. If it's a 7th and 8th grade trip and the 6th grade classes are still here, if you're feeling better, you can come back to school and be in those classes, for instance. Other than that, when you get back, you check in with your teachers and see what you missed and what you need to make up.
Dr., do you still want to say something?
Yeah. Who raised their hand?
Oh, it was Auburn?
What?
Do you want to say something?
Oh, yeah, I've missed expeditions before because I was sick, and it's kind of a bummer, but usually for just daytime expeditions, you might have to make up a little extra work. Overnight expeditions, like if you're really, really under the weather, you might have to make up a little more than you wanted to, but I think if you're sick, you should definitely do what you need to, because some of the expeditions are pretty rough.
Just to add on to that question and what some of the students are speaking to, outside of possible absences, just general follow-through, how to go about something like that, or struggling in the classroom. One of the things that I think Mr. Ben talked about was mastery grading in the upper grades. And so we all have that philosophy, but Mr. Seibel and I take the approach of really kind of getting their feet wet at the 6th grade and getting them geared up for that A, B, or F scale. So that does not exist at the 6th grade level. It's a regular grading scale, but we start to really early on build in the idea that students need to communicate with their teachers. They need to know how to follow through just like they would on an absence. If they're struggling, they need to redo assignments. And that's an opportunity that EXL in all grades provides, an opportunity for kids to revisit work, do it better the second time. I know Mrs. Holday was talking about that with our project, and we see that time and time again. But no matter whether it's an absent situation, communication, 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 it's really key for the success of the student.
If I can piggyback on that real quick as far as mastery grading goes. So some of the students, they go, yeah, it's an F, but really it's a C. And I'm here to say on the transcript, it's an F. So just understand that. Or, when you want to apply it for different high schools and things like that, the mastery, it's a seriously an F, even though it's probably a 72%. So that's how the program is designed. And I just want to, buyer beware on that one.
Okay, let me get to a couple of the questions up here first. And then we'll yes, ma'am.
What was the hardest expedition 6th graders went on?
Oh, what was the hardest expedition 6th graders went on?
I think it's going to vary, but Tosca wants to tell you what hers was.
I believe, if I remember correctly, Point Reyes, because that was your first camping trip. And for you guys, it would actually be Chinatown. So, Point Reyes and China Camp, they go off years. So when I was in 6th grade, I did Point Reyes. When you guys will be in 6th grade, and if I don't know if you guys, I don't really know what I'm saying, but you guys will be doing China Camp, and that was the hardest, I believe, because you actually were with the 7th and 8th graders. You were cooking your own food. You were setting up a tent, and you had to be on time for everything.
That was the hard part. Sarah.
So for me, two hardest expeditions were Point Reyes, like Tosca described, and also the Balclutha, because that field trip is the first field trip that you go on, and it's just 3 weeks into the year, and it's already an overnight trip. And not only that, but we're spending it on a boat, but it's not out at sea, it's on a dock, don't worry. But I feel like that one was the hardest. It was the first expedition that we had. It was also overnight, and also there were night watches, so we stayed up a little later than we were used to.
What did you eat for dinner?
Oh, no. Back when we were in Balclutha, we had a group that, so our own students cooked our food, but they don't do that anymore, so.
One more response and then we'll move on to another question.
We just said, don't worry, they're fun.
Okay, the young man over there.
Have they ever canceled the expeditions because of the weather?
Well, we postponed the Yosemite trip. It wasn't canceled. We did have to postpone one of our classes, Watershed Restoration, because of the rains. So yes, once in a while we do. But usually we go rain or shine, or snow.
What if you get sick, during an expedition when it's far away, like the LA trip or the Oregon Carrier can't take you?
Yeah, that's a good question. We are fortunate that we have a lot of good, hardworking parent chaperones. Often we'll have police officers, nurses, firefighters as part of our chaperone crew that help us to take care of people if they're not feeling so well. And if somebody's sick and they need to go home, we make arrangements with their parents. If it's a long ways, we do what we can.
So it probably doesn't come up a lot about substitute teaching, but in the event that one of you weren't available for an extended period of time, you guys have some sort of backups that could fall in the suit and take over?
We do have a few regular substitutes that we use that have also been on expeditions, including the Yosemite expedition. Lauren Wilson, who was the band director at Mountain Shadows before, a colleague of ours. Mr. Bush, Chris Bush, who was a history teacher in the district for many years. Juliana Bird, who was an art docent and a former parent years ago. They want to say more. Okay, Kristen.
You're also forgetting about Miss Groggins or
Once a year, there's someone who steps in for the small day. Ms. Goggins.
On Halloween.
On Halloween.
This is very broad, but if you were to generalize about families that take part in this program or parents, could you, are there some commonalities that you notice?
Oh, they're wonderful. They're the best. One of the things, actually, going back 20 years, one of the things that surprised me, I didn't think that it would happen. I didn't give it a thought at all when we started the program. But what surprised me, what was a wonderful surprise, was by the end of the year, the parents had become really close friends and had, got to know each other, gone on these trips, camped together, cooked together. They don't have to cook together anymore. We have somebody that cooks for them. You're also spoiled now. But, they became friends with each other, but they also got to know the kids. And I think that's one of the great rewards of chaperoning on these expeditions, is you get to meet all of these kids. And one thing, it's kind of a relief to see that your kid isn't the only one who does this sort of stuff. So that's kind of comforting. But you also get to know, just wonderful kids as well as wonderful parents. I don't know that there's any real commonality other than they want their kid in the program.
They care about their child's success, and they're willing to be involved in the way, and to the extent that they can be.
Well, I also have a little follow-up. Do parents get little training as chaperones?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Training.
And while you learn by doing.
And you can, we have, like, I see some returning parents here tonight that's like, oh, I hope their kid makes it in, because now they know what to do on the trips, right? And you really do get better as a chaperone.
Okay, I think we have to close it out at this point. Mr. Seibel, do you want to talk about the video where they can find that real quick?
Well, maybe what we can do is just a minute, I can show the website where the video is located and also the application. Do we have paper copies of it? Okay.
English and Spanish.
So, just in the way for a second. The easiest way to find the information, if you Google LJMS, you will get the homepage. On the homepage is an expeditionary learning link. Arranged here, there's a lot of good information, including a typical list of expeditions, frequently asked questions, our philosophy. In the Explore tab, there's a wonderful 13-minute video filmed by Glenn Jones, who I think is here tonight filming this. I encourage you to watch that. To apply, you hit the Apply tab, and the applications are available online. You download it. Mr. Seibel has some paper copies here. That's all I wanted to show. turn the lights on, and we'll be in the classrooms for about 30 minutes.